This Ask Energy question is a great one. Let me try to unpack it a little bit. So, the question itself is, do I need to focus on optimizing, controlling my blood sugar every meal throughout the day? Or is it more important by the end of the day that my macros match up somewhat so my blood sugar is controlled? So, they're both important, right? And as you know, I'm the creator of the metabolic efficiency training concept, which emphasizes optimizing blood sugar through proper combinations of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. If you want to learn more about that, click on the link below or just search metabolic efficiency training. There's a lot of resources online about that. But let me break this down a little bit. So the whole goal of optimizing blood sugar, there are a host of health benefits for doing this. So you don't want to have a blood sugar line that looks like a roller coaster, right? It's horrible for health and cognitive functioning. You want to have it more steady throughout the day, right? Better for energy levels, so you'll have more sustained energy. Better for cognitive functioning because you won't have those brain highs and lows where you have that cloudiness, right? That afternoon, like, oh, crash kind of a thing. So the easy answer is yes, you want to make sure you're optimizing your blood sugar at every single meal whenever you can. 90% of the time. That's usually my rule. I have a 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, try to do it at every single meal. Because here's another reason why. When you have a blood sugar that is a roller coaster effect, right? When you have high blood sugar, your pancreas secretes insulin. Now, insulin is a hormone, it's a wonderful hormone. One of its goals is to actually reduce blood sugar, right? Makes sense. You don't want high blood sugar that can predispose you for a host of consequences, health consequences such as prediabetes, diabetes, and some metabolic disorders. So we don't want high blood sugar. So insulin, as long as your pancreas is working, well, the beta cells in your pancreas, insulin is going to get released and it's going to bring blood sugar down. Great. But what a lot of people don't understand is when blood sugar is high and insulin is high, that actually just about turns off your body's response to burn fat. So, if you are trying to lose weight or decrease your body fat stores, adjust your body composition a little bit, the last thing you want to do is have a blood sugar high and low like that roller coaster, because what we're trying to do with blood sugar optimization with metabolic efficiency training is we're trying to control insulin. We're trying to control the body's ability to use its internal stores of fat and carbohydrate. So back to this little thing, because I know some people count their macros. So for example, what if you had like a heavier carbohydrate based breakfast than maybe a heavier protein based lunch and then kind of a mixed carb and protein based dinner, a little more balanced? Well, at the end of the day, you may actually match up in that carbohydrate to protein ratio. So it might be like a 2-to-1 ratio, 2-part carbohydrate to 1 part protein. So, maybe you have 200 grams of carbs and 100 grams of protein, right? That's a 2-to-1 ratio. At the end of the day, the numbers might match up, but what you've done is, because that breakfast might have been more carbohydrate based and less protein, that may have thrown off your blood sugar curve, which throws off your insulin response, which encourages your body to store more fat instead of burning more fat. And that's usually not the goal of most individuals. So the easy answer is yes, you want to try to control and optimize your blood sugar at every single meal you can. It's not just about the end of the day numbers. It's about what you do intra-day, right? So every single meal, you should have the focus of doing the best you can at balancing your blood sugar. So where I find most people making this mistake is during snacking. So if you snack, don't just grab a handful of grapes or strawberries, and those may be a fantastic food, great carbohydrate source, great vitamins, minerals, fiber, absolutely. But by themselves, they will actually create a high blood sugar response, high insulin, reduce your body's ability to burn the fats, which means you're revving up your body's ability to burn more carbohydrate, which again is usually not the goal for most individuals. So at the end of the day, here's what I want you to think about. Think about every single meal and snack that you can. Again, 90% of the time, try to combine proper amounts of carbohydrate and protein. Use my hand model. Use the carbohydrate to protein ratio. There are different ratios based on the person, based on the athlete, based on training, health goals, longevity goals. You can find all that information on the website, energyperformance.com. But what you want to try to do is make every meal and snack as balanced as possible in terms of your ratio, your carbohydrate to protein ratio. Please try not to stray away from that too much. It's going to happen every so often. You're going to be out and about, you're going to be caught behind the eight ball, whatever, and you're going to be like, listen, it's either a handful of blueberries or nothing. Have the handful of blueberries, like feed yourself still. But knowing that that is only 10% of the time, where next time you will do better at maybe putting a protein source in there, right? So, in summary, is it more important to look at each meal and snack to try to optimize blood sugar by combining the proper amounts of carbohydrate and protein and fat? Or is it just necessary to look at your macros at the end of the day and make sure that they're in balance? The answer is A, right? The first one. Make sure you're trying to hit optimization of blood sugar 90% of the time of your meals and snacks because of the physiological consequences and benefits of doing that intra-day instead of just end of day. All right. If you have any questions, hit me up with more of these. I absolutely love answering these. Thank you for watching.